You're about to eat at one of these places in 2026, unless this video stops you first. These 6 fast food chains depend on habit, trust, and silence. But behind the counters are shortcuts, ignored warnings, and practices customers never see. This isn't rumor or hate. It's inspection records, employee accounts, and patterns you can't unsee once you know them. Tim Hortons is no longer just a coffee stop, it's a national habit. And that's exactly why most customers never stop to question what they're consuming. In 2026, Tim Hortons continues to market itself around freshness and comfort, but the reality behind the counter tells a different story. Most baked goods no longer start fresh in store. Donuts, muffins, and pastries arrive frozen from centralized factories, sometimes weeks old before baking. Former employees describe items being baked early in the morning, then reheated throughout the day to maintain the illusion of freshness. Soups and chili arrive sealed in plastic bags and are reheated in bulk, often sitting in warmers for hours longer than recommended food safety limits. Multiple Canadian health inspections have cited Tim Hortons locations for dirty ice machines, improper food holding temperatures, and poor hand hygiene. These violations aren't isolated mistakes, they appear repeatedly across different regions. The root issue is scale. With thousands of locations, consistency is prioritized over care. Staff are under pressure to move quickly, reduce waste, and keep costs low. Customers trust Tim Hortons because it feels familiar and harmless, but routine creates blind spots. When you stop questioning what you eat, standards can slip quietly. In 2026, that daily coffee and breakfast run isn't just about convenience, it's about how much corners were cut before your order ever reached the tray. KFC's branding leans heavily on tradition and its legendary recipe, but the kitchens that produce that chicken often operate under constant pressure. Health inspection records across Canada show recurring issues, including grease buildup, pest activity, and improper food storage temperatures. Former employees report that fryer oil is frequently reused beyond recommended limits to save money, resulting in darker oil that affects both taste and safety. Chicken is meant to be cooked, held, and discarded according to strict time and temperature rules. However, during busy periods, workers describe cooked chicken being held under heat lamps far longer than guidelines allow. The gravy, a signature item, is often reused throughout the day rather than fully replaced, increasing contamination risk. These practices may not cause immediate illness, but they significantly reduce safety margins. The deeper problem is systemic. KFC is built around speed, volume, and tight profit margins. Employees are rushed, understaffed, and trained to prioritize output over caution. Customers see crispy chicken and nostalgic branding, but behind the scenes, shortcuts quietly become routine. In 2026, KFC's biggest risk isn't flavor, it's what happens when tradition meets cost-cutting at scale. Wendy's reputation is built around one powerful phrase: fresh, never frozen. But that promise applies to a narrow part of the menu, leaving much of the operation hidden from scrutiny. Former employees have revealed that Wendy's chili is commonly made using overcooked or dried-out burger patties collected throughout the day and sometimes across shifts. These patties are chopped up, reheated, and served without customers ever knowing their history. Fries may sit in warming bins longer than recommended and are sometimes briefly refried to restore texture. Health inspections across Canada have cited Wendy's locations for mold in ice machines, improper raw food storage, and sanitation failures. Frosty machines are another concern, with multiple claims that deep cleaning happens less frequently than manufacturer guidelines require. Wendy's markets transparency and freshness, but internally, the system prioritizes efficiency and waste reduction. When speed and cost control dominate, safety becomes inconsistent. Customers see clean branding and friendly slogans, but the real decisions affecting food quality happen behind closed kitchen doors. In 2026, Wendy's image feels reassuring, but reassurance isn't the same as accountability. Subway's "Eat Fresh" slogan has defined the brand for decades, but the reality is far more processed than customers expect. Bread dough arrives frozen and is baked in-store, allowing Subway to label it as freshly baked. Meats and cheeses are pre-sliced, vacuum-sealed, and shipped in bulk. Vegetables are often pre-cut long before they reach the service line. Former employees describe constant pressure from management to extend use-by times to reduce waste. Browning meats are flipped over, vegetables are misted with water, and wilted lettuce has damaged parts removed instead of discarded. Health inspections across Canada frequently cite Subway locations for improper food temperatures, cross-contamination, and dirty ice machines. The tuna has drawn particular concern. It's mixed in large batches and stored for days, with additional mayonnaise added to mask odor rather than disposing of it. Customers believe transparency equals safety because they can watch their sandwich being assembled, but the most critical handling happens earlier, out of sight. In 2026, Subway's freshness is more about appearance than reality. Starbucks presents itself as premium, clean, and carefully controlled, but the food operation behind the counter is far less artisanal. Most pastries and breakfast items arrive frozen and reheated multiple times throughout the day. Former baristas report food being held beyond recommended time limits during slow periods to avoid waste. Milk handling is another weak point. Opened containers may sit out during busy rushes and be reused across drinks, increasing contamination risk. Health inspections at various locations have cited Starbucks locations for unsanitized equipment, poor temperature control, and inadequate cleaning routines. As Starbucks prioritizes drive-through speed and mobile orders, pressure on staff increases, and attention to sanitation can slip. While many locations operate responsibly, consistency depends heavily on individual management. The handcrafted image remains powerful, but behind the scenes, the system functions more like an assembly line. In 2026, Starbucks isn't dangerous by default, but its rapid pace and efficiency-first model leave little room for error. McDonald's is the master of scale. Food arrives highly processed and frozen, engineered for long shelf life and fast preparation. Former employees report that during rush hours, timers are sometimes ignored, with burgers and nuggets held longer than recommended. Fries may be mixed with fresh batches to avoid disposal. Health inspections across Canada have flagged McDonald's locations for dirty ice machines, improper storage, and poor hand hygiene. Ice cream machines, already complex to clean, are often cited as sanitation weak points. With enormous volume, even small lapses can affect thousands of customers. McDonald's works because people trust the system, but big systems make problems easy to hide. In 2026, the biggest risk isn't the food itself, it's how routine and trust allow shortcuts to blend into normal operations.